Hey, James. All right, everyone. So today we're going to be discussing the new 10 DLC compliance that we are doing for our TextMyQB clients. Today I have James Malone on with me, who is a developer.
Hi, I'm James.
Thanks for joining us. And we're going to be reviewing how to fill out the 10 DLC registration forms. In case you have any questions, you could review this discussion, and we can always help you if you have any questions after. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask James to share his screen of the email so you guys are aware of what we sent out in case you have questions.
Yep, just 1 second while I'm pulling it up.
Yeah. Again, this is to kind of alleviate spam texts that we all get, and we want to make sure that our clients aren't doing the spamming. And that's what they want to do. This is coming from the actual cell phone carriers themselves, not our CYDNE representatives. And everyone's required to do this. This is not just coming from CYDNE. So please bear with us as we collect this information so that we can move forward.
For whatever reason, it's not letting me pull the email actually out of the so that it's just the email itself. Just give me just 1 second. Sorry.
You can message it to me if you want, potentially.
Would forwarding it to you work?
Yeah.
Or
sure. All
right, I just forwarded it to you, but okay, you know what? So yeah, now that I forwarded it to you, now it's working.
Oh, that's good.
So
let's see, remove spotlight. All right, James. So if you share your screen, you should be shown.
Yep. All right. Let me know when you can see it.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, this is the email that you should have received. It was, or at least something very similar to this. This section down here might be different, but most of the data here is the same that you should have received from us a couple of days ago.
And what we really want to go through here is just the specific links. Click here to enter brand registration. We're going to be showing you guys that. This is a form that we created that mimics exactly what CYDNE has, just so that we can give the information to them rather than you guys having to go to CYDNE themselves. It just might make it a little bit easier. And then each one of these line items in the subtable provided is a campaign registration link. So you need to actually go through each one of these individually and add a campaign. So we're going to be going through that right now to show with you guys in case there's any questions. We know some of the questions could be a little tricky. So James, thank you for sharing your screen.
You're welcome.
And I'll go ahead and share my screen. Okay. You got the screen?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay, great. Thanks. So this is the brand registration form, and this is probably the first one you're going to want to do. This is actually going through your business itself. So I'm just going to go through a mimic one and fill it out. So, Juice Technologies would be our name, and we would want to do the full legal name. So it would be Juice Technologies Inc. For the brand name, for us, we would just be Juice Tech, but everyone's going to have their own different name. So you have to fill that out as well. And it shouldn't be too different from what you have as your legal name, but obviously it's not going to be the full thing. Our account name is also just Juice Tech, but if you registered it under something else, that's what you would want to have it registered as. Bettina, since you're here, for the brand name, is it going to be much different than the account name?
We have some clients who have it a little bit differently and some who use the same. It's completely up to as up to you as to whether or not you want to use something similar, the same, or variation a little bit differently.
Okay, yeah. So this is just it should be pretty simple. Obviously, the business vertical. These are the options given by CYDNE. So whatever makes the most sense for you. will be information technology services. Makes the most sense for us.
And that's also what is given by TCR. Anything in a drop down that we've requested or anything we
Yep.
request or any list we give, that's what's been requested of us to provide. So
Oh.
everything here is, something that we've been asked to obtain. And
Yeah.
if it's asterisk, it's mandatory.
Yes, yes. So country of business registration, this would be obviously different for everyone else, but we're in the United States. Country, company address, obviously you guys would only know this. I think 5350. It's not gonna like what I'm doing, but you guys get the idea. You filled out plenty of forms before in your lives. Business website, you guys would just want to fill out your business website. Business type, we're Inc. I don't think I see that as here.
So you would choose other.
Other. That's good. I'm glad we have that. Tax info ID, this is required. Please don't just put 1111111 because most likely the form will not get accepted then. I don't know ours offhand, so I'm going to just put 1111111. Legal
So,
status.
Can I ask a question? What if we're in Canada? That
Then you
business
would-
tax-
You would do your local, what they call it, your local provincial number that you're given.
All right. Okay, we'll try to figure that out.
And when filling out the address, I do have an additive to that. Please make sure you're supplying the information that is the same as when you initially registered your company. If you have not updated that information, whether it be with your local or state government or province, what is on there is what is on that paperwork, that the latest they have on file is what is being checked against. So if you've updated your information, but you haven't updated it with your local government or state government or provincial government, please use what you used at the time of registering your business.
Tina, that is why we have you here. That is great information to have. So thank you for that.
No problem.
And feel free to jump in at any time. You are running this meeting just as much as we are. Company legal status. Again, this is for each company is going to be their own. So we're a private company here. We are not on the stock exchange. Primary contact name. This is where you fill out any information about who you are. It's not necessary to put down anything more than what we're asking. Contact.
And if there is only one person who is the contact for a company, just duplicate it. We'll know right away it's just that one particular person to use.
That's actually a question we've gotten already, so that's good to know. So thank you for that. So secondary contact name, like Tina just mentioned, just copy and paste everything you already have. So campaign details use case. So this is where everyone, again, is going to be different, but this is another drop down with selections. You could choose more than one here.
Yes, you can choose up to 5. If you choose anything that says mixed, you must provide the additional information for it. So we'll know what to pass along for you. You can choose up to 5, but you cannot choose any more than that. If you select mixed, you have to have up to 5 additional options. Selecting mixed does not count towards that 5 total.
Okay, good to know. And then estimated number of messages per month. Bettina, I'm assuming that this is also just a roundabout estimate.
Right. Yeah, just an estimate. So we kind of know what to gauge it as, because when we're submitting, we, peers, we say, hey, this is just kind of what they're looking at per month, just to give them an idea. That way, if they see you guys suddenly explode, they might bring something to our attention. And if we don't see it first, we can go, hey, was this intentional? Kind of our way of giving a bit of customer service back. If we see an act, something you say only 5,000, all of a sudden we see 22,000 a day and you haven't given us notice, we can reach
Yeah.
out and go, hey, was this intentional? Is something going on? You might want to take a look at it. Just, we do that now, but it's always good to know if our clients are growing or if their business needs are being shifted. It's good for us to know as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's all you need for the brand form. So just go through it again in case you missed anything. Just filling out your legal names, filling out the website information, etc., contact information. Now here's the campaign form, which we just spoke about. Would be potentially a number of times, depending on how many DIDs you have, which is actually the cell phone number that they provide for you. So we include some information based on the email you got. So this is the number associated with this configuration, which is a specific campaign. And we also included your QuickBase application DBID and table DBID in case you weren't part of the setup or you don't remember exactly what that text was for. The table should give you a little bit more insights into what it's used for. But this does not need to be filled out. This should be filled out for you already. So again, it's a little bit of repetitive information here, but you're just going to fill it out. Just technologies, campaign name, CYDNE, text review. If we were to send out a text message about this, that's what we would call it. A description. We're going to be sending out text for people to review CYDNE. Reviewing CYDNE text. Does it need to be any more in depth than that?
And if it's for, let's say, if someone who's doing account notifications, you can just say account notifications of balance or employee notifications of shift change or anything like that. The more as accurate details as you can give will really help the carriers look at your messaging and not only approve it quicker, but also give you a higher throughput. And by throughput, we mean messages they allow per second.
Oh, that's good to know too. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, with 10 DOC numbers, your throughput, you can have anything from 1 message a second, and we've seen it all the way up to where they allow 60 messages a second.
Wow. I'm just taking a note of that because I didn't know that yet. Very cool. So just to continue on, standard campaign use case. Again, this is, I think, the exact same question we had on the brand form. So you would fill out whichever this specific campaign is about. So I'm just going to stick to marketing. But like Bettina mentioned, if it's mixed, you have to select more than 5.
You have to select up to 5. Mixed does the mixed checkbox does not count towards that 5.
Gotcha. Okay, good to know. Check yes or leave no. So subscriber opt-in. Everyone's going to have to check this one. We have tooltips here that help you along the way. I should have mentioned that earlier. So most of these questions come with the yellow tooltip. But this is basically saying that your clients have opted in to receiving text messages. I think providing their phone number is enough to opt in. Is that correct, Bettina?
So as far as opt-in goes, the acceptable ways of opting in from the carriers, there are a couple different ones. Let's say you're finishing up your eye appointment, and maybe I'm just using this because I have an eye appointment coming up next week, but you're finishing up your eye appointment, your doctor's like, hey, did you want to receive, let's go ahead and schedule your next appointment. Do you want to receive a reminder text? If so, they may have a point of sale screen there. They may have a form where you've provided your number. It may be on a website, things of that nature, but it has to be made explicit to the recipient that, yes, I'm opting in to receive these notifications, and the types of notifications have to be described and must be accurate. You cannot blindly just say, well, he shopped at us today and he's a rewards member and we never got explicit, opt-in from him. We're just going to go ahead and message him anyway. That is not allowed. And carriers have a very, very strong stance against that, and it can lead up to revocation of your registration and possibly fines. If you send out, messages to users who have not explicitly opted in.
Yeah. Well, we just want to make sure that, we're not spamming, and that's the whole point of
Right.
this NDLC compliance. So
Exactly.
everyone, please get your subscribers to opt in. If they're employees, if it's internal text, they still will be opting into text messages. So this checkbox will be checked.
Yeah, and the reason why we have that required is just that you need this in order to have your campaign to be approved.
Yeah.
So if it's unchecked, correct me if I'm wrong, Bettina, but it's pretty much just not going to be approved if that's unchecked, correct?
That is correct. If it is not checked, it's not going to get approved. And the reason we require that is, let's say you have a user who says, like myself, perfect, for example, a couple weeks ago I had a text and I was like, I never opted in for this. Was something I had opted in from like 3 years ago, and I didn't remember it. Well, the company brought it up because I mentioned to myself and provider, like, oh yeah, you did. So not only is it a protection of you, but it's also protection of you guys as well, to show, hey, yes, you've opted in. So yeah, it's a requirement.
Great. Is the message related to direct lending or loans? This will only be for specific clients. So if you're not doing any loans or lending, you don't have to check it. Is there a URL in the message? Does this include anything that would be from QuickBase, like a QuickBase link, James?
Yeah, so any QuickBase links will be counted as a URL. So if you are including pretty much any link, you should be checking that checkbox.
Understood.
Yeah, I would agree. Anything that is a URL would need to click that, whether it's a short URL, the standard URL, doesn't matter. Just include it.
Yep.
Even if you think you're only going to send it maybe once every 6 months, still include it. So the carriers can be aware.
Yep. Anything that can get you flagged, you don't want to miss. Is the phone numbers in the messages? It's pretty self-explanatory. If you're putting like a company phone number, check it. Does the message use affiliate marketing? Again, this would be a specific use case per the client. So if you're not doing affiliate marketing, don't check it. Is this age-gated content? Now I read that, now I'm a little confused, but is this blocked by age? James, you tell me. Or Bettina.
Age-gated means it is content that is intended only for a specific age group. One would be trying to think of something that's kind of a broad enough term, but is also very, but also specific. Let's say someone wants to, let's say, all right, car insurance. Typically, you're 18 when you get car insurance, right? So age gated would be it's insurance and 18 years of age or older, something like that. Anything that has an age restriction on it by law enforcement.
Understood.
The best way to put it.
Okay. And last but not least, there's example messages. And Bettina, based off of your answers earlier, it seems like the more example messages provided, the faster and potentially the more messages you could send per second. Is that going to be correct here as well?
So no, the throughput is actually based upon your campaign. However, the messaging examples, those are extremely important. Because let's say you clicked, yes, there's a URL in the messaging, but in your examples, you didn't give an example with the URL, and it gets flagged by the carriers, even though they've registered your traffic and said it's good. They can say, well, you said there was a URL, but we don't have an exact example. And while yes, this is a URL, but we don't have that on file. So whatever you state, like if you state there's going to be a URL or phone number, give examples of those. If you, part of your messaging campaign is going to be account notifications, but then you have a side subset that maybe advertise an upcoming sale or something like that, certainly provide those. If, we do allow for our clients to provide more than 5 if necessary. So I'm not sure how you guys would want to have that on your end, but we do allow our clients to send in an additional separate email saying, hey, this is my campaign name that I registered under. This is my company name. This is my CYDNE, company name.
Yep.
Here are my additional message examples I'd like to present. Because let's say for some reason carriers block the traffic and it's the exact same, and I'm not saying the URL has to be the same as to what you give them, but it has to be very similar. And
Sure.
let's say the carriers block your messaging and we go, oh, wait a minute, no, you approved that. And here's even the example that was sent in for you to review and you approved. Your chances of getting that leg to stand on are much, much higher.
And again, we're doing this, everyone, so that you do not get blocked. And, we want to make sure all the text messages you send go through and that there's no issues. So we're trying to stay ahead of the game by doing this. And like Tina just said, if you have more than 5 example messages, we'll make a rule where it shows example message 6 and 7 if you fill out example message 5.
And even if you still hit the limit of how many fields we put there, you can also just reach out to Matthew or I, and we can figure out some sort of way to add more of your examples. So
Yeah, and that's it for the campaign registration. So like I said in the beginning, you're most likely going to have more than one. Some of you will only have 1 or 2. Some of you have 10 plus. You will have to fill out an individual campaign registration for each DID, each registered CYDNE phone number. So that's really all we have for you guys today. Bettina, you've been excellent. Thank you so much for joining us and giving insight into this.
You're most welcome. I do have one other item to add.
Yeah.
Once the campaign has been registered, we will begin ordering the new numbers. So we'll need to know area code preference. So you may want to put in area code preference, and what we're asking our clients is to give us your preferred and 3 follow-up. So we're not having to do that back and forth dance of, hey, your first one's not available. Can I get your next one? This one's not available. And so that way we have that ability. And as another side note, we are MMS enabling all numbers right out the gate. So if you have a client who does not want MMS functionality, let us know and we can turn that off. But that is something we're enabling for our clients out the gate.
All right, James, that looks like two new questions to the exchange form.
Sorry,
Oh,
you're going to
yeah.
add that to the form? Is it something about area codes? I didn't really understand that.
Yeah, so we'll add that to the form. I think we'll add that to the brand registration. We'll put 3 fields on there. And basically what CYDNE is asking is just that once you get approved for 10 DLC, the new phone numbers that you're going to get, they're going to try to get you your preferred area code. And essentially we'll give to them their primary area code and then 2 others as backup in case all of the phone numbers in that area have already been taken. So we'll add that to the brand registration form.
I would actually recommend adding that to the campaign form because
Okay.
that is our last step. The MMS functionality and the area code preference, I would add those to the campaign because that flows with us reviewing that and going back to that second step.
Now,
Okay.
Mark, I know you're in Canada, so we have 631 here on Long Island, but do you have an area code in your phone numbers?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we're 10-digit dialing the same, but I'm confused. We have our customers texting to a particular number.
Mm-hmm.
It happens to be area code 204. That's an area code that's in the middle of Canada, so it's kind of fair to everybody. Customers in the West hate the customers in the East, and not customers, but there's regional, skirmishes. So we picked the one in the middle. But they text to a number. Is that number going to change? They text to a number and then it goes through the system, and then the QuickBase goes through its jumps and responds back to them. Are you saying that the phone number they text is going to change?
So yes, with this new 10 DLC thing, the phone numbers that you're going to have will end up changing. So that is also why we are asking for the area codes.
Oh.
And the reason the numbers are changing, and I can attest to you for the entire CYDNE, I will speak for the entire CYDNE team on this. If we could have had your guys' numbers just be 10 DLC enabled, trust me, we would have already done it by now. But the carriers are saying, nope, you got to get a new number. And we were like, why can't you just make it an option so we can 10 DLC enable some of our clients' numbers, especially the ones that market them heavily. They're like, nope, you need a new number. These are the new ones are going to be the ones you can use with 10 DLC. And I
Wow.
think we pushed, I think
Wow.
probably for 3 or 4 weeks trying to make our use cases and everything else. And it was like a hard stop no. And, you know, once your 10 DLC numbers are on and we give you a little bit of time to make everything transition to use the new 10 DLC, we're going to remove those old numbers from you. So, and there is another option for clients. They can get a new key altogether, or they can just use their existing key. So I'll let you guys make that determination for your clients or what have you.
Yeah,
It's a mixed bag of our clients who want new ones or old, they want to keep the old one. So
Why would I care about a key?
So basically the license key is kind of like a grouping for the DIDs that you have. At least for our process within QuickBase, it won't be too much of a difference because essentially the part that will have to change with your new CYDNE number will also just change it to the new license key that you have. So I think we'll just make it so that it's new license keys as well.
to keep it completely separate, that this
Mhm.
key and this batch of numbers was the old ones, this key and this batch of numbers are the 10 DLC. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, and the other question I have, this form that you have up, this looks like it's EOTI, right? So when you save, is that the end of it? You can't edit it, you can't see it? What happens?
so that's
Um,
not true. Yeah, James got it.
Yeah, so right now, if Matt were to save this, it would just go back to the homepage and it would say, thank you for submitting. If you do want to come back in and either view it just to double check your data, or if you notice that something was wrong and you want to edit what you have, you can just reach out to us. Basically just tell us what user you want us to add into this app, and then we'll set it up so that you can then view each of the campaigns and the brand that you set up.
Okay, yeah, I think we'd like to do that just temporarily, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
no problem. All right. Well, I'm going to open it up for anyone else. I know there's a couple other people in this meeting that might want to ask a question. I'm not going to call any names out, but this would be the time if you have anything specific. Mark, I appreciate your questions, by the way, because they were very relevant, obviously.
All right, yeah, well, I appreciate you guys running this. I just thought it was an easy form to fill out, and I didn't think, I actually didn't expect it's going to be this complicated. So I'm glad you had the seminar.
Yeah.
Trust me, if it was up to CYDNE, we would have made it much simpler. But the carriers are like, no, we want everything, including your firstborn, your blood
Yeah.
type, and the first
Yeah.
dollar you ever made. So
Yeah, so we'll definitely add a little bit more information to the forms about the throughput messaging, the area code preferences, and then also just some notes. In the email, I think it does mention that the number is going to change, but we'll just mention that in the campaign registrations as well.
And
that.
sorry, the throughput is going to vary depending on client based on what the carriers are approved for.
Yeah.
The ranges I gave you are just what I've seen lately.
Mhm.
It could be higher. It could be at a base of 1 a second. So, yeah, that just varies depending on how it depends on how the carriers feel that day. So,
Well, I think that will be more of an incentive to fill out the form completely, so that people get a better throughput.
And what's the deadline on getting these forms done?
so we don't have a hard deadline from the carriers at this time, but what we are asking our clients to do is try to get them done as soon as possible. And if you can get them done before the end of the year, and we get you moving on the 10 DLC, that is kind of ideal. The carriers have been known to say, hey, yeah, your deadline is next Tuesday. And let's say today's Monday and you got till next Tuesday. Then they come and go, oh no, we've moved the deadline to this Thursday. So we're trying to get our clients to move on it as quickly as they can, just to get it done. So if they make those deadline changes to something sooner, you guys are already set up rolling, you got nothing to worry about. If they extend it out, hey, that's even better. But we just try to make sure our clients are kind of, ready to rock and roll without any issues, regardless of how the carriers move that deadline.
Thank you, Bettina.
No problem.
Yeah, so again, just to remind you guys, this is trickling down, 3 levels. The carriers are mandating this to CYDNE, and CYDNE is going to need it from you guys. So we're trying our best to help transition this smoothly and make sure that there's no lapse in service for anyone. So at this point in time, I have my email up, I have James's email up, we have support up. If you have any questions on this topic, feel free to reach out to us. We'd be happy to have any one-on-one meeting that anyone might want to have. We could walk you through it step by step. We are very flexible, so please just let us know. But at this time, I think we've wrapped everything up. If there's any more questions, feel free to ask them now. But thank you for everyone who joined us, and this will be posted online just for people to review. We're going to send this out to everyone who received this email, just as another review in case you were waiting on this. So thank you again, and I hope everyone has a great rest of your day.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.